Hi everyone, it's Kathy Maxon. Today I'm going to show you how to make a flower wreath. We're going to make a ladybug themed. Tools that we're going to need the mat board. We're going to need 4-inch zip ties. I have a whole big bag here. So we're going to need 4-inch zip ties. We're going to need a rotary cutter. We're going to need pliers so we can pull our zip ties tight, and then the little nippers so that we'll cut our tails of our zip ties. So you're going to need a 10-inch wreath form. A 10-inch is the one that has 5 sections, so we'll be using those. We're going to be using this plastic canvas. So we're going to be putting the plastic canvas in the center. That'll hold our last row of petals, and it will also hold our center. So you can pick these up at any craft store. These are 5.75 inches, or you can get a whole sheet of the plastic canvas and you can just draw on the canvas. You want to draw it just outside this inner circle, and then you'll cut it out and you'll zip tie, so it'll be the same thing. So we're going to use our black fabric mesh. You can pick this up at the wreath shop or craft outlet. Trendy Tree as well, I believe, has some black and red fabric mesh. I think I picked this up at Joann Fabrics one year, but you can get those at any of the stores I just listed, the Wreath Shop, Craft Outlet, or Trendy Tree, and also some red fabric mesh. So that's what we're going to be using. Let's get started. I want to show you how to cut the fabric mesh. We're going to cut them, so this is 10.5. So this roll is 10.5 tall. So I'm going to cut my pieces because I want it to be a square. I'm going to cut them at 10.5 lengthwise. So you're just going to line it up. And what I'm doing, I don't know if you can see, but there are the thick fabric jute, and then in between are like 2 sections. I think it's like more like a little bit of a poly blend center. So I'm going to try to cut in between the 2 solid lines, but in between the plastic poly burlap, or the poly that's in there. So I'm going to find whatever's closest to 10.5, and I'm going to cut between. And I'm going to go all the way up, and I just want to cut in between those lines because I want a nice good cut. It's going to fray because I can already feel it here, so it is going to fray. That's why I tried to cut it between the jute pieces. And then what we're going to do before I fold the petal, let's get this center on. We're going to take our center, we're going to take some of these zip ties, and we're just going to zip tie the center to this bottom row. So I won't pull them all tight yet, so let's just we'll get 4 or 5 on. I think it has 5 crossbars. I'm calling these crossbars. So we'll just put 5 of these on. So that way I don't pull it tight, because in that way, you know, you can pull it which way you want it to go. See this center, they are a little bit smaller holes, so that's why it's a little harder to get these little 4-inch zip ties through. So if you would buy the sheet of the regular plastic canvas, this would not become an issue for you. They fit, it's just a little tougher Okay, so while we have that centered, let's pull all these tight. For some reason I got that one way over there. So pull them all tight. We'll clip them off. Put them toward the center just so they don't stick out. Okay, and then there you have our center added. So let's work on the fold. I'm going to get my zip tie ready. I'm going to put it, we're going to call this row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. We're going to put it on row 3 at the crossbar. So I'm going to get my zip tie ready. So we cut our piece, since it was 10.5 inches tall, we cut our piece 10.5 inches long. We're going to put our finished side at the top, finished side at the bottom. We're going to let it curl up. Going to pull the bottom right. We're going to match up that corner. We're going to match up the sides, and it's going to be a triangle. So we're going to pinch in the middle. I'm going to pinch once there to the top. I'm going to fold my end in, and then I'm going to pinch that up. Then I'm going to pinch once more from the center to the bottom. I'm going to turn my flap in, and I'm going to pinch that up. So then this is what your petal looks like. So you can get it in there, fluff it in there. Get your hand in there, fluff it. See this piece? I'm just going to pull it off. Normally you would just kind of cut it. So I kind of want that bottom piece staying underneath the top piece. So I'm going to put it on my bar. Remember, we're zip tying it on row 3, the second one from the outside. My pliers. And then you will cut, and that is our first petal. So I'm going to put 2 more petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 petal at the crossbar, and then I'm going to put 2 petals in the center. So then each piece will have 1 at the crossbar, 2 at the center. So that's going to be like 3 per section, 1 at the crossbar, 2 in the center. So you're going to need 15 pieces of this outer mesh that we're going to put on the back or in the bottom row. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. I did 1 crossbar, 1 piece there in the center. I'm going to fold another piece, fold it up, match the side so it's a triangle. I'm going to kind of hold this with my left hand, pinch in the center. Then I'm going to pinch, and actually if you want you can pinch on each side of the center, and then you can flip your bottom, pinch, flip your bottom, pinch up, and then form your petal. Stick it right here. Got my zip tie already. Maybe. My fingers are having an issue with the zip ties today. There we go. So we have 1 on each crossbar and 2 in the center. So what I'm calling it 1 crossbar, 2 centers, that makes for a section. So we're going to do 5 sections of that. Okay, let's finish up the back. I'm almost done. As you can see, I did one at each crossbar, and then we did two in the center. So this is a crossbar, this is a crossbar. I have two more pieces to put in. Get my zip tie ready. You can actually also make your petals and clothespin them and have them ready to go. So I have my end pieces almost to then that second bar in the middle. So let's do the fold again. Our finished edges at the top and the bottom. We're going to make a triangle. So I'm going to put the top right. I'm going to put it, try to line them up as best you can. I'm going to hold it with my left hand. I'm going to pinch in the middle. Then I'm going to pinch halfway between the middle and the end. And I'm going to fold this flap in, and then I'm going to pinch it up. And then we're going to do the same at the bottom here. I'm going to pinch halfway through the center and the end. I'm going to flip that end in and pinch it up. So then here's your petal. So you got these little strings. I actually add scissors to your list to have on hand. You really shouldn't pull them because then it just makes it unravel more. So you can form your petal. I'm trying to tuck the bottom one underneath that top one. And they don't have a zip tie. So I'll put my zip tie in here. You hear my dog jumping off the bed that's above me. I'm in my basement. She was just barking out the window. My pliers. Pull it tight. And we're going to clip off the end. So that is our back row. And this wreath will end up being about 22 to 24 inches. So if you just see strings, what you could do is clip them with your scissors. Again, don't pull because it'll just make them unravel more. But that is our back. So then the next row, we are going to use, I think I'm going to use, for the Ladybug, I'm going to put red next, and then I will put the red and black in the center. And then I will have to show you guys how to make the center. I thought I had one already made, but I do not. So I will have to show you guys how to make the center as well. So put this aside. So just like the black, what I'm going to do is figure out how big my mesh is, and my mesh is 10 inches. So this one's only 10 inches. So then I'm going to cut my pieces at 10 inches. So this looks like the same. It has the jute with two poly bars going through, and so I'm going to line it up and cut it about the 10 inch as close as I can, because I want to cut it in between, trying to go in between the rows. And then again, we're going to do the same petal fold. We'll put the good side at the top and the bottom. Going to make our triangle. Pinch in the center. Pinch halfway between the center and the end. I'm going to flip the end up, and then I'm going to pinch that up. Again, pinch halfway going from the center down. I'm going to flip this end in. And then here is our petal. So then I'm trying to figure out where I want to put this at. Okay, we have the back all finished. We're going to do our second row is going to be the red. So we had our bar, we had the outside ring we called 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put it on the third ring or the second ring from the inside. So we're going to do the same petal fold, the curl up, the finished edges top and bottom. I'm going to fold it in a triangle, line it up as best you can. Hold with your left hand or right-handed if you're left-handed. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hold it with my left hand. I'm going to pinch in the middle. So I kind of want to keep these points together. That's kind of why I'm holding my hand there. So between the middle and this end, I'm going to pinch again and pull it to the center. I'm going to flip that end in, and I'm going to pinch that end. So that's what that half of the petal looks like. So as you can see, when I let go, it kind of wants to have a mind of its own. So I'm going to keep my left hand down. I'm going to pinch between the half and the end, pinch kind of in the middle, and fold it in. I'm going to tuck this end in, and then I'm going to pinch it up. So then there is our petal. Got some strings, we can cut them off, or, you know, as long as, so we're going to, the second from the inside, so then our bottom should just reach this inner ring. And we're going to go between the black. So we're going to put one petal between each black. So I'll put one here, one here, one here. So I will do that and come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, let's put the last piece in of the red. So again, we're going to go through, we're going to put it in between the two blacks on the third bar, or the second from the inside, however you want to look at it. So this will make 15 on this layer. Tighten that up. I'm going to cut that off. So here's what it looks like. So remember we had the black and red that we were going to do next. As you can see, when it's on the roll, it looks like it's all nice and pretty and black and red that you can see it. But once you make your petal, you kind of lose your plaid and it blends in with the red. I'm going to tuck this one under and that one over. So then all my petals lay the same. This one always goes over top of that one. So, see how that blends? So what I did, I made a piece with black underneath so you can see the difference, so you'll be able to see the red and black plaid a lot better. I just don't know if these double petals are going to fit in my 4-inch zip tie, but we're going to try. So my center, going to be using this Styrofoam round floral 2-piece, 4.8 inches round. Pick it up at the Dollar Tree. You see how sharp the edges are. So what I did, my husband has a metal file. I just rounded off one of the edges. I just kind of took the metal file and scraped that way. Do it over a trash can or somewhere because it makes a mess because it's Styrofoam. So I just kind of took it and scraped it. So you can see this sharp edge turned into this round edge. I'm going to paint this black, and then I have some black cording that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and I'll video making the center, but I'm basically just going to glue the cording around and around and around and around, and I painted it black so then that way you can't see the white when, in case there's any gaps of when you're putting the cording together, then you're not going to pick that up. And then that will go into the center of the wreath. So I kind of want to see like where my center, see if the center, I at least need to be past, my zip tie will need to be past this edge, because I want to hide the zip ties with my center. So I'm probably going to put it, you can kind of see the center ring here. I'm probably going to put it out, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably about 9 or 10 rows back from the center on this plastic canvas. And that's how I'm going to put it in. Let's try one out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go 9 and just see. So my 4-inch, let's see if this is going to hold. I think I'm going to leave my clip there until I'm good here. Where's my pliers? So it pulled off the zip tie at the end a little. But I still want to make sure it's tight. And then I'm going to make sure that that band is down further, so that's not going to interfere with my center. So see, when we get that center in, it's going to hide that zip tie. And this will be black, so that should look really cute. So let me finish the center, and I will tell you guys how many petals I used. And when I come back, I'll show you how I put them together. We'll do the last one together. Okay, this is what we have so far. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 8 pieces. I'm going to squeeze one more in here, because again, like I said, you want to make sure you're always covering the hardware, if you will, of your zip ties and that of the layer above. So I'm going to show you what I did. So again, we did the black background. I'm going to do the petal the same way. But what I did here is I'm laying something heavy on top of that, and I'm going to get my red and black plaid. I'm going to get that all lined up, and then I'm going to come in and line up my red. Now you can see my red, because it was 10 inches and my black was 10.5, that, you know, my red is going to be shorter at this end, but we're going to do the same. But this time I'm going to make sure that I'm getting all. When you fold it in half, you basically have like 4 layers. So I'm just going to make sure, and again, pinch in the middle, pinch between the middle and the end. And then I'm going to flip these down, and I'm going to pinch there. So that's what we have on that side. All these strings coming out. The more you handle your mesh, the more it frays, just to let you know. So again, I'm going to get my hand under there, make sure I get all 4 layers. I'm going to fold these ends in, and I'm going to so here it's our same petal, but it's just double layered. So I'm going to just squeeze this in here. So what I found, if I push down, I'm able to tighten my zip tie a lot better. And then I'm going to stick this one on top of that. So I'm always having that layer overlap. And so this is what we have. So all we have to do is put in the center. So I will show you that process next. So we're going to use this metal file and we're going to round the edge of this center. So all I'm going to do is just scrape it. It's going to get loud. Like I said, it gets really messy. I'm in my garage, in a garbage can. So you want to make sure you're leaving 1/4 inch at least. So I'm going to take the finer side and just kind of, maybe kind of push it down, kind of round it down. And then I'm just going to kind of knock off these edges. And as you can see, kind of tapers down. That's what I was going for. Okay, now that we have the edges rounded or knocked off, I painted it black. I used black acrylic paint. And then now we are going to glue and wrap with this black cording. It's called Decorative Trim. I think I got it in Hobby Lobby where they sell by the curtains. So it was $3.99 for 5 yards. Usually the end usually comes taped. I'm going to cut some of that off, but I will leave the majority, I believe, the tape on there just so it doesn't fray. And then I got my silicone fingertips so I don't burn my fingers. I have a small set of scissors just if I want to hold something down. I still always have my pliers or something like that. Got my glue gun. Going to figure out where the center is. I'm going to kind of maybe make a small hole. Put a little bit of glue in that hole because I want to put the end in the hole just so it has good connection. With your glue gun, you're going to get glue strings. So you're going to be very, very careful and try not to get any glue on the black. So I'm just going to put some glue down on the styrofoam. And I want to hide that center that had the plastic. Sorry, I might be in the I want to get that where we left the tape on. I kind of want to make sure I get that center covered or the tape covered. So that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good in the center. So I'm just gonna start gluing and wrapping. You know, you can always move, you know, the styrofoam. Again, I'm going to try not to touch the glue too much because I don't want to get the glue on the black. So I will hold them in place a little bit just to let the glue set up a little. And then what you can do is always kind of slide the glue, the roping in the glue over to the edge where it's going to meet at. So this is a little time consuming. And then if you do get some glue on the black, you can always use black marker. So I'm going to slide it kind of through the glue. And then I'm going to hold it down. So I'm going to keep going and I will come back when I'm almost done. Okay, we pretty much got the top done. I'm going to keep going. You only have like the sides left. You can see the glue strings. I'll have to brush those off. We're just going to keep continuing around and then we'll go down. I don't think my paint was dry. I keep seeing black paint on my hands. Oops. Yes, I took some of my finger things off. Like I said, we're just going to keep going around. Cover. Want you guys to be able to see. Oops. Just be careful like that. Like the glue's going to come undone, and then if you get it on your... Be very careful when you're working with the hot glue. You can seriously burn your hand, your fingers. But they are kind of hard to work with these silicone tips on your fingers. Okay, I have all wrapped as far down as I can go. So I'm going to leave, I'm going to cut this off. And you can see we don't have much left of our 5 yards, so we at least used a good 4. I'm going to put some glue down. I'm going to hold this in the glue. While that's setting up, I'm going to use some U pins. I don't know, kind of like floral pins. These say they're called fern pins. But what I did, I used my nippers and I cut some down because I'm going to come in here. You know, just to help hold this stuff down. then I'll glue those, you know, make sure they're gonna stay. But you can see how it unravels at the end. That's why I left the tape on at the beginning. So what I'm going to do, I also going to make this kind of like an attachment so we can attach it to the wreath center. So I got my pipe cleaner here. I'm going to use all these glue strings. So you just kind of fold it in half, kind of put it, you know, toward the center. I'm going to use these trim down U-pins again. You trim them down so they don't come out the end. We'll put some in this way. I'm trying to squeeze them so they're not so fanned out. Because then then we're going to, you know, use that to secure our center in. Come on, get in there. So then again, I kind of want to leave these up. And you can kind of see that moves around a little. So I'm going to glue these in as well. But then I got some black felt here. I'm going to cut so what I can do, I'm going to cut probably a piece that goes over all of that. So this will again help too. You can get some T-pins. I don't have those down here. So I'm just going to hold this down, let it set up a little. But the felt will also help hold those down as well. Just making sure I don't get glue all over me. But that is our wreath center. You see any glue strings, you can brush them off. So let me go grab the flower and unplug my hot glue gun. I'm going to set it aside. Here's our wreath. That's going to look nice. So then we can feed this through the center. I just make sure that they don't go in the same exact hole. Pull it. And then I'm just going to twist it. And then I'm going to clip some of this off. And we can actually stick these back in the hole, these ends. You have a clean back. I'm going to, I have yards of felt, but what I'll do is I'll cut the circle out using an empty one, and I will cover the back. But here is our finished flower. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this is in the camera view. Ladybug theme. If I had some little ladybugs or something, we could put ladybugs, you know, on the center. But there you have it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.